we said on Sunday we were going to talk about the Jay-Z allegations and response today instead of Sunday because I think stuff was kind of just coming out and we were just starting to get our head around it. But what are your guys' thoughts about what's out so far? I know, Tyler, you mentioned on Sunday when we were talking off air about, first of all, kind of an insane statement that he put out. And I would add on to what you said. It's kind of crazy that he put it out from Roc-A-Fella and not from himself, which is its own interesting decision, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
I've been staying away from the discourse from this online because with shit like this, whenever it involves a celebrity or a musical artist, especially one as revered as Jay-Z, you know, a guy who's a lot of people's goats and whatnot, and shit. I mean, like we've discussed this before. If all things considered, he would probably get my vote for the rap goat, right? Like I'm a fan of his music. But with that said, bro, I'm not hopping out there and defending anyone on no shit like this, especially a celebrity who I don't fucking know,
Right.
right? These are some serious allegations. That statement that he put out, I completely understand wanting to adamantly fight these accusations if you're not guilty, right? I completely understand that. Being accused of what he's being accused of, not too much worse shit in the world you can be accused of. I get that.
Period.
But that statement did not rub me the right way, bro. Like I said, if you're gonna get out here and deny that, I don't have a problem with that. Everyone is entitled to due process of law and what have you. But for him to there was just so many plays being ran out of the victim blaming playbook
Yep.
in that statement for me. The whole this is does a disservice to the real victims, and why didn't you take this to criminal court, and why are you coming forward now, and why are you hiding behind anonymity, right? It's just that that is the victim blaming shit that we hear so often with this. And I thought that Jay-Z and Roc Nation would be way more professional than that. Right. And like I said, I completely understand emotions might be running high because this is some vile shit to be accused of. But I was not rocking with that statement at all. But basically, yeah, bro. I mean, that's where I'm at. Like, you know, to echo a point that we made about the Andrew Schultz shit, like some shit is bigger than rap. I'm not going to blindly go to bat for anyone as just because I like their music, just because I'm a fan of them as rappers. You know, this is some really vile shit he's being accused of, and we'll see how it plays out. And like I said, I'm not. I would never ever defend somebody, especially a celebrity, blindly just because I'm a fan of their music. Never.
Yeah.
Because generally, when these like accusers are, it's very seldom does accuser come out and it's fake. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of who it is, it takes a lot of, you got to be very brave in order to do some shit like that. Coming up against somebody like Jay-Z, it's hard for me to believe that this person would do this and be lying, understanding the lawyers that Jay-Z has and all that type of shit. Um, Jay-Z's my favorite rap artist of all time. If this motherfucker did this shit, put his ass under jail, bro. I know it's a civil case, you know what I'm saying? It's not criminal, but yeah, I believe one thing he said, yo, make this motherfucker criminal. You feel me? Like, I agree with that part. But yeah, man, I'm not, yes, yeah, there's no way I can read what he's accused of and rush to, and not think of the 13-year-old that was affected by this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And think of my, like, I have no loyalty to people that I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Fuck you mean? That's just, it's nasty. Um, we'll see. But yeah, I'm not jumping out to defend anybody, to defend him in any way. That's crazy.
And
Yeah.
there's some people in the chat and some people online, just a couple, and I'm not taking shots at the chat, who are asking questions like, why does she get to be anonymous? Why is she coming out now, 20 years later? And like, I understand like the thought behind a question like that, but the reality is that you don't get to blame the victim in that way, and you have no idea what that person is going through. And when they're accusing a famous person specifically, if that person's name is public, their life is ruined because
But
there are thousands of people who just get to violently attack them all over the internet and stalk and all of this shit, and you don't get to tell them how to handle the situation,
Well,
right? Like,
the truth is though that people do get to tell them that, which is why you are granted the anonymity.
right. That's what I mean. That's what I
In
mean.
the court of law, because this is something that gets turned into. I mean, to point the lens, but it gets turned into a topic on podcasts. It gets turned into something people are talking about. It gets turned into women in false accusations should go to
Right.
jail. Like it gets turned into all this stuff, and that's why. And so there's a million different reasons why someone could have waited a certain amount of time to come forward. And some of those reasons include the potential that it is a false accusation. Like
Of
that is
course, it's
that is a
possible.
Yeah, but I'm
potential,
saying like,
you know?
but if you actually went through that shit at 13, why it's nobody else's business to know who the fuck went through that shit.
Right.
Like, why do you think that you should have access to somebody, you know, who like that's like why ask that question? I want you to like why do you want to know who that person is? That person should have the right to be anonymous and to still get justice.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like
I
let's think about if this person is a victim, which is what we think what's could is a potential, like victims should have the right to remain anonymous. I don't understand why you think you should have access to somebody's personal experience. It's already hard enough that they went through this shit. You know what I'm saying? And yeah,
but I think, and I don't mean this to be critical of anyone asking the question. I actually think it's like a good thing to discuss why
Agreed.
that
I'm not taking shots at anybody.
no, I think it's good to discuss that. But I think that the truth is, and again, I don't mean this to be critical of people asking the question. This has been like so few, to what Tyler says, so few people who make these accusations are proven to be making false accusations. It is overrepresented that the people who are making false accusations are making them against people who are wealthy. So like that, and that is like true. It is true. And it was very uncomfortable for a lot of people when this stuff started coming out. It's true. If you know people who've gone from being 17-year-olds to professional athletes overnight, they're told by like player rep union reps to take condoms and personally flush them down the toilet, to like in some cases get consent forms signed ahead of sex. Like it is something they are thinking about, whether it is fair or whatever in either direction. Like, so, but because of that, I think it's been turned into a topic about this very small group of people that's discussed across all of America in a completely different way than it should be. Because 99.9% of the time, someone's making a report about a sexual assault, it's an accurate report. Like, but there's this desire, I think, out of a hurt male ego thing to focus on a 0.1% and pretend this is like a gender war or something. And I'll give you a personal example from Long Beach. We had a kid, Brian Banks. This was a really famous case, who was accused of rape while he was a senior on the football team at Poly. He was later cleared through the Innocence Project of the girl who had accused him. That was a consensual sexual encounter they had on campus, that she had, because her dad found out she'd had sex, said that he had assaulted her. And she'd said that because she was afraid of her father. And then once she told the father, the parents realized they could make some money off of it. So she was recorded saying that it was consensual, and he was freed. But what I'll tell you is this: Brian Banks declined to become a part of the manosphere. Like, there was lucrative options available for him to be a women are trying to take advantage of you media figure, and he was disgusted by what was being offered to him. And like, that's someone who lost years of his life to one of the very rare instances of a true like false accusation, still saying, no, this is a real problem. I don't want to make life worse for women in this country just because of this bad situation that I was in. But it's, so I'm with y'all. Like I think you always have to think victim first, 100%, obviously. But to a lot of people who, don't have the mature perspective John and Tyler are describing about famous people that don't know, it's like, oh, this is an artist who means a lot to me, and that clouds their vision of humanity, in my opinion. Like, I think that's what happens.
I'll be honest, it bothers me. Like, like it's like I would hope that Jay-Z wouldn't do something. I grew up watching Jay-Z. You know what I mean? Like, at a point he was aspirational, until I just realized he's just like greedy. You know what I mean? But like, I just, when something like this happens, I mean, I don't see how you don't focus on a 13-year-old.
It's also like some people are saying that Jay-Z's name is public, so she's an adult. Her name should be a public too. And it's not her fault that Jay-Z is a
Right.
celebrity. It is not her fault that this happened to her. It's not her responsibility to look out for Jay-Z's reputation. Right? Like, it's not her responsibility.
Right.
So whether you think that she should or should not make her name public, she does not own a single iota of responsibility in that.
What would her name being I was saying, and that's again where I was like, that was why I gave that rambling explanation from my perspective on why people ask that, because like, what would that change?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
I
like
mean,
what, like
it
in
would
your
make
head,
you
what would
feel
that
it
better
only
change
gives
if you knew
people
the name?
access to her in ways that she probably wouldn't want them to accept.
But it's just
to have
turning
that,
it
you know
into
what I
this
mean?
issue of like that people
Yeah.
can identify with Jay-Z and say, if I was famous and someone was anonymous, this is how I feel. But we're not famous.
We're not famous.
And
We're
frankly,
regular.
and like I said, frankly, it's a personal safety issue. If her name
Yeah,
is out, she
facts.
becomes personally unsafe. Jay-Z is rich enough, he's not. Jay-Z is fine.
But
Okay?
from the
Jay-Z's
perspective
personal
of,
safety is fine.
but from the perspective of like, you're a Jay-Z fan, and so you're going like, you know, well, why is his name public and hers isn't? Like, again, like what more information would you gain about these accusations by knowing the person's name? Like, how would that give you more information to form an opinion with, you know?
Yeah. And I'm not saying like, we're not saying he's guilty. You know what I'm saying? We're not, I've seen a bunch of shit, you know, from the lawyer that made the accusations, that like people from the city that where he's from have said he's shitty. But at the same time, 99.9% of the time, like you said, the victim is not, these aren't false allegations. You know what I mean? I have no reason to start off with not believing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Based
and-
upon actual fact. You know what I mean? Based
And-
upon actual,
and-
you know. Go ahead.
And I was gonna say, on the other hand, this is the same lawyer who represented all the plaintiffs against Deshaun Watson. And
So-
we all know Deshaun was guilty as fuck.
As a motherfucker.
He
So, yeah.
he admitted it with the settlements and the payouts and having fucking 40 massage appointments a month, which is not fucking normal. So I don't know. You got to take that shit with a grain of salt, bro.
For
No,
sure,
look,
for sure.
and this is where this stuff gets turned into a topic. Like it is the case that in this country, the way that wrongs are rectified is financially. And so that does feel the way that it feels when like you read those things, like someone's being accused of something and the person wants money for it. Like that feels different than I want to beat the shit out of the guy. Like it feels different because money's involved. Lawyers make money. There are lawyers who are bad people. There's lawyers who are bad people who are doing great work. There's lawyers who are horrible people, like who are good people doing horrible work. Like that is the American criminal justice system for good and ill. Like that just is what it is. But that doesn't change any of the actual facts around the human beings involved. Which is where, again, I'm not saying this is how everyone else should feel. My personal stance on this, since we now live in an era where everything is offered up for opinion, is when an accusation is made against anyone, unless it is literally made against my wife and children, it's made against anyone, I believe the victim. If it is then proven that the victim is not being honest, then I incorporate the new information and I don't believe the victim. But that's the way I operate, based not on like what someone told me to think, but based on what I have observed in the world and the women that I have known who have not come forward about things or whatever else. Like that's what my observations of the world have led me to use as a personal guiding force. I'm also a Jay-Z fan. I don't give a fuck. What does that have to do with fucking anything?
Period, bro.
What does that have to do with anything
and
that you're a fan of someone? Like,
I want you to, if you have women in your life, I want you to really talk to women about their experiences. Truly talk to the women in your life about their experiences and shit that they haven't had, like weren't comfortable coming forward with regular motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? It's truly sickening shit that young women have to deal with in this, or women period, have to deal with in this fucking country, or just world period. But I've heard some shit that is heartbreaking from women that deserve so much fucking better, but felt like nobody was there to help them or would believe them. You know what I mean? And so like, gee, like we have no loyalty to this motherfucker. We don't owe him shit. He don't give a fuck about us. If this shit is true, we have, you know, it's like dog, it's just like, bro, you see some shit like that and want to side with who? The billionaire? Not the 13-year-old? It's just really hard for me to fathom that if you actually have real conversations with women, understanding their experience in this world. You know what I mean?
I mean,
It's truly sickening.
I mean, as you know, I brought the Brian Banks thing up, bro. Like that started a lot of really real conversations with friends of mine and between different people in Long Beach around like, and it was a conversation that I was there for between two of my friends where one of them said, man, every woman I know has some sort of a story though that's a real story. And this girl probably has a story, you know, too. And our other friend said, I never heard any of those stories. And my friend said, that's because the women in your life don't trust you then, if you've never heard those stories. And he said, and it got like ugly because he's like, you're talking about my mom. He's like, I am talking about your mom. Like, if you have not ever heard these stories from the women in your life, then they are not trusting you with those stories, bro.
I'm telling you, bro, it is nasty as fuck. And this is not whatever the weird shit y'all believe when men take up for women. No, this is my true experience. You know what I'm saying? That it's just, dog, bro, if you have not, talk to the women in your life for real, bro. Like, you have no reason to believe this fucking billionaire. And I'm not going to go there, but
yeah.
There's been shit said in songs that would make you think of a particular way too. But anyway.
Oh, no,
all right.
No, I mean, let's take it there. If the Jay-Z defenders want to do this whole, trying to assassinate character here, let's take a look at Jay-Z's history. Let's take a look at how he was on songs with a 16-year-old Foxy Brown on Ain't No Nigga talking real crazy sexually. Let's take a look at how he, hopped out there on Beyonce when she was 18 and he was like 32, 33. Go listen to his verse on Young Girl on Pharrell's album from In My Mind 2006, where he's talking about bagging like a 20-year-old and he's like 35 at the time. There's some smoking gun shit here, man, if y'all really want to go that route.
And that,
But,
and just
but like I said,
at best it's weird. At best it's weird. You know,
and I want to
mean?
reiterate, that's y'all are like huge Jay-Z fans. That's not coming from people that are like,
rapper of all
fuck Jay-Z.
time.
That's right. Like, but that's
I was watching backstage 2 hours before the shit dropped.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a huge fan, but my nigga can't ignore it. You know what I'm saying? Can't ignore the reality.
Just to close out this conversation, I just want to just give a lot of love and support to all the women in our chat who are doing a lot of shit. I'm not going to name anyone. I don't know who wants their name shared in the chat versus outside of the chat, but who are sharing a lot of personal experiences to try to illustrate the widespread problem of the way that women are treated, not just in this country, but in the world, right? And there are so many instances of things that happen to them every day that they don't get to report, they don't have to report, that they don't even, like, the scope of this problem is so much larger than it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the women in our chat are being very brave in sharing their experiences, and women in the world, everyone who shares their experiences, are being very brave when they share those experiences. So I just want to show love to all the women in our chat specifically, but also anyone who has sort of experienced this type of problem and either spoken out or not, because it's, we can't.
No, and extra, I just want to like triple down on that. And I know we've heard from a lot of the women who listen to this show that they feel like we're a show that's, it's men talking on the show primarily, but that doesn't feel like the other show, a podcast hosted by men. And I know that's something that all of us are really proud about, but like, all men are stupid as fuck, bro. Like, I've been with my wife since we were 18. She had to slap me upside the head in our like mid-20s when I was talking about, I think it was the Daily Show or someone did an episode about catcalling, and I was like, is that really a thing? And she was like, are you out of your fucking mind,
bro?
She was like, when I was 14 walking home from the bus stop, people were yelling this and this and this and this, and I was like, bro, because you're with your woman, you don't see that doesn't happen most of the time if you're with a guy or whatever, you know what I mean? But it's that, like, you're aware of this, you're aware of some of this stuff, but like you said, even when you're in a relationship with someone, you talk to each other, you trust each other, I don't think we could ever see more than the tip of the iceberg about what they actually have to go through just by being alive. You know what I mean?
When I was in my, and this isn't super graphic, but it's just to show you like how motherfuckers think. I was in my mid-20s, and one of my friends told me that she had a plan if somebody was trying to force her to do something. Like, this is what I'll do just so it won't be as traumatizing. as it could be. Like, there are things that women have told me, it's hard to believe. I hate this shit because anyway,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, I hope y'all, the people that are asking these questions and they question her, I hope you take time to talk to the women in your life, because I implore you to, because, you know, I have a daughter, we have wives. I think we need to support them in ways that we aren't.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, fuck me, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to make this about me because I'm emotional, but it's like, it's truly disgusting, you know, what the people that we love are going through when they leave the house and what they have to worry about.
Right.
And we should work to do whatever we can to change that for the women we love in our lives. And one thing at least would be to, when you see these victims sharing themselves, will be to support them. You lose nothing by doing that, and it will mean a ton to the women in your life. You know, who most women I've known, everyone I've talked to has experienced this shit. So I'm just saying, man, like you know,
it would mean something to the women in your life to not come home from work and you're saying, you know what I heard about this lawyer? You know that.
Yeah.
Right,
or
like,
Jay-Z's my favorite rapper.
Right.
Like, come on, bro. Like,
listen, thank you to the women in our chat, and you know, we say whatever we say, but like I said, that's my perspective on life, is from listening to my wife and my mom and the women in my life. So listen to the women in the chat. Thank you for sharing and trying to help, you know. And like I said, man, I love our listenership. I got a nice message from Claire DeLune the other day about us having that, like, being the only male sports show she could ever go on.
And that's why
she gets nice comments, she gets positive feedback. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's why I'm saying it, because I know these is good dudes.
100%.
You know what I mean? These is solid
100%.
motherfuckers. So that's
Right.
why I'm saying, like, yo, go talk to the women in your life, please.
Right.
Because these are type of dudes that seem that they will be able to listen. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so, like, this is why I don't question shit, because the true real life experiences I've had with the women in my life and what they've told me, where the shit that would make your stomach turn, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we have a responsibility, man.
And whatever it is, and like, again, man, like I think people feel like when this stuff happens, they feel like it's about them. It's not about you. Like, it's about what this person went through and the means they're trying to take around it. It doesn't mean you're being judged by Jenkins and Jonez if you're listening to Jay-Z today. It does, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, it's like, what is happening in your head is different from what's coming out of your mouth to the people in your life. And that's the only point that I think we're trying to make.
Period.
Like, everything else about it is personal. If this is a Jay-Z album that got you through a dark time in your life, that's what that album, that doesn't change anything about that album and your relationship to that album. Like, this just, yeah. All right.
This shit is bigger than rap, like Tyler said.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. And you know, to kind of harp on John's point and y'all's point about how, you know, it's real life ramifications to people just going this hard for celebrities. The women in your lives who are on social media, who are seeing you go to bat this hard for rappers who you don't fucking know, on the side of just trying to discredit, you know, these type of accusations, think about them, bro. Think about, do you really want to alienate people you know in real life, loved ones in real life, because you're going hard for a rapper who you don't even fucking know? It's not worth it. We don't fucking know these people. And I'll just leave it at that, bro.
It's the most wonderful time of the year for getting in on all the hoops, football and hockey action at DraftKings Sportsbook. In the season of giving, we're being gifted college football and basketball, pro football and basketball, and pro hockey too, almost 24/7.
So many games every day, so many opportunities to place your first bet. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and place your bet. And here's a gift for all new customers. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Jenkins. That's code Jenkins for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Happy holidays from DraftKings. The crown is yours.